Shy. I had to come back this here with a second session because for some reason my recorder is acting funny. It cut me off in that first one, um, but it's okay. So I'm going to get into this, and this one is actually old, as you see here, July 3rd, 2024. From Blacklisted News, it says the war on farming continues. Denmark to tax cattle. Okay, Denmark to tax cattle, as if it wasn't enough that they talk about cow farts, being a problem. Now they want to just exactly tax you on the cows. But this isn't the first thing that they, first time they done something similar. So let's get into this article real quick. Probably not all of it. Okay, it's actually short, so cool. It says, let me see here. There's a top. It says the globalist cabal needs to control the food supply in order to control the masses. Okay. I mean, and right off the bat, we can light that one up, okay? Because this is what we're trying to tell you about what's coming on this earth, especially in America, in Babylon the Great, okay? They're going to use your financial situation, all right, taking currency digital, so on and so forth. In order for you to access your funds, you're going to have to take the CHIP, okay? Which puts you under their control, under that particular system, all right? And also a thing to drive you into their system, is manufacturing a famine, okay? So it says the globalist cabal needs to control the food supply in order to control the masses. The World Economic Forum proposed ending gardening in general. Ending gardening, okay? Every nation is watching their farmland bought in bulk. And who's buying these things? Who's buying these places? We know who's buying these things, okay? Those that are associated with the so-called elites. All right. With places like America seeing land taken away through eminent domain laws, the UK imposed a tax on chickens. All right. Simply a tax on chickens simply to prevent people from having the ability to source their own food. And that's similar to what they showed you in that one particular, well, not exactly, but they showed the deers acting all weird in the Leave the World Behind movie. Okay. And, it was something going on with those deer, I said deers the first time, but so it was something going on with those deer, okay? And that's how because you have to understand, those that own the land, which, I mean, not so much as, we'll put it this way, everything has been polluted. That's basically the point that I'm trying to get to. Everything has been polluted. So, there's not going to be anything that's particularly safe out there, because if there is, chances are it's going to be something that's unclean. All right. So, the heathens are going to do what they do. Okay. But you Israelites, you can't go out, eating these. That's why you're supposed to trust the Lord. You have to trust the Lord. You can't be out there in Jacob's trouble getting hungry, and you build a little plot in the ground. All right. Like you will build a grill. Okay. You can, build a little grill, but using the ground to dig out a pit in the ground, make your little a fire pit, cook food, because you don't call a squirrel or a skunk or some crazy mess. Right now, man, you gotta trust the Lord. He's going to feed you, and feed you something that is clean. Because why would the Lord feed you but then give you something unclean? That, my friend, okay, is a test. All right, it is not for you to eat. Okay. And you may come across a test like that where you're starving, man, and you see, a dead rabbit or something like that. That's two whammies right there. Because for one, you're not supposed to eat anything that died of itself, and then two, it's a rabbit, which you're not supposed to eat. Okay, so that'll be a test of your faith. You know the Lord didn't give you that food to eat. All right, but it may be put in front of you to test your faith, man. How are you going to buckle, or are you going to continue on? But anyways, let's continue. It says the UK imposed a tax on chickens simply to prevent people from having the ability to source their own food. Now Denmark is implementing a tax for cow ownership. Let me say that again. Denmark is implementing a tax for cow ownership. Okay, so this is their which is minor. Okay, but this is their minor way on cracking down on this particular topic that we have here. Right. It says Denmark has imposed a 672 krone, whatever that is, $145 tax per cow. $145 tax per cow owned by any individual in attempt to combat climate change. What does that have to do with climate change? Oh yeah, well, that's right. The cow farts and things in that nature. Your carbon footprint. All these things that are BS. Okay, these are just agendas of the so-called elite, man. This wicked elite. Okay, and they'll tell you anything to justify why this and why that. And this is our solution. It says any individual in attempt to combat climate change. People must pay the government for the luxury of owning livestock as they are threatening the climate. That's crazy, man. The government has paid for scientists to back these claims and falsified studies that state that gardening or owning livestock of any kind threatens the existence of planet Earth, because they don't. Did not the Lord make the animals just like they made the people? So if you say the animals are a threat, to the planet Earth, then what the hell are humans then? Okay, what are you people? You're the biggest threat you're the cancer of the earth, man. Okay, and you're spreading. And the Lord is sick of the cancer, and he's about to weed it out. But to say that owning animals and, outsourcing your own food is hazardous to the planet Earth, but not the people itself. People who've been given brains that are on a higher level than animals, mouths that they can speak words, okay? You wouldn't have to and bah and all this stuff, right? But the animals are a threat. It's because people are outsourcing their food, like they said, okay? They want everything to be driven through them, and that's the point that we got to drive home. Everything will be driven towards them because they have a God complex, these wicked elite. They want people to want them and to look at them as a God. So even though things like this are just flat out stupid and ridiculous, they are for a particular purpose, man. And it's to drive that wedge between, particular freedoms and them. And that wedge is going to drive you closer to them. Or at least that's what they want. It says, like the C. Ovid, we are blindly forced to trust the science when it is clear propaganda. Yeah, that's right. And a lot of people did that. They trusted the news. They trusted Fauci, okay? And look at the result of that. Even to this day, you can still hear about those, that particular thing we just read about, that 5-letter C word, right? This is a massive issue for Denmark, where 63% of the total land area is used for agricultural production. And that's whopping. 50-50 is one thing, but they're past the 50-50 mark. Okay, that's an extra, 13%. 63% of the total land is used for agricultural production. The dairy cow population is about 546,800, declining 1.74% for 2022 to 2023. And the nation hosts 2.5% of all dairy cows in the European Union. About 3.6% of all milk consumed in the EU comes from Denmark. Yet Denmark is pushing full speed ahead to meet asinine climate targets. But that's your point right there. Okay, that's your key right there. It says that about 3.6% of all milk consumed in the EU comes from Denmark. So now you understand why they are attacking Denmark. Okay. Let me see here. It says, the nation plans to reduce 70% of all emissions by 2030 in alignment with Agenda 2030 before becoming climate neutral in 2050. That means these things are right around the corner, okay? What they're pushing for is right around the corner when they give you these far off dates. That's to throw you off, okay? Make you say, okay, they said 2089. So you hear about it, you think about it, and then eventually you forget about it because the date was so far off. And really, what they plan is right around the corner, man. Let's get this middle paragraph here and we'll move on. It says, farmers across the EU have been protesting against these climate initiatives for a long time. They're being forced to change their feed and use less fertilizer. Everything they're asked to abide by only makes their industry less competitive compared to foreign nations that are not and will never abide by the green agenda. Excuse me. So they think, man. But their push is going to be heavy, man, because they have rulership of the earth right now. It's given to them by way of prophecy. And so that push is going to be deadly heavy, okay? So once again, this says the war on farming continues. Denmark attacks cattle. All right, so we'll move on. All right, so this next one, which is also old if you look at the date, which is why I don't often use blacklisted news, because they ain't never up to speed. These other other article sites will have more recent articles, and blacklisted news they just be lagging, man. So I stopped using them. I'll check them out every now and then, but a lot of times they're lagging. They're never completely up to date. But anyways, I almost want to say we went into this one before, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna grab it now. It says the Beast WorldCoin digital ID ecosystem build out continues with the next wave of grants, right? WorldCoin digital ID ecosystem build out continues with next wave of grants. The second group of startups awarded funding by WorldCoin to work on extensions and applications of its digital identity and iris biometric technologies. Wave 1 of the WorldCoin Community Grants Program consists of 17 projects. One of them, Tassio, was awarded a grant as a part of Wave 0 to apply multi-party computation to iris code comparison. This led WorldCoin to adopt the new system for iris codes, and Tassio has received another grant to continue its work. Because everything, the main thing they're pushing for, is this digital system, because the digital system allows them to put their main plan into play, which is the RFID CHIP, okay? The micro CHIP. It says grant recipients include Axiom, Proof of Passport, Forecasting Humanizer, Alfade, Agora, Only Dust, and BBB and Company. Encode Club is getting a grant to create a series of live workshops and YouTube videos to educate people about WorldCoin. Wormhole will bring World ID verification to Solana, and ZK Snap provides a secure voting protocol for system governance. Cometh will create a mobile native library for World Chain wallets to integrate passkeys and other tools. And all these things can be hacked into, man. Okay, I believe there was I can't remember where it was. There was a certain situation happened recently about hacking or whatever. And that's something you're never going to be able to get around, man. Once the digital system is set up, they probably have found a way around blocking hackers out, but that's through, the avenue that's going to have to be taken, because everything's going to be taken offline. All right? A hacker can't hack if the grid is shut down, you see? And everything's reset. Hackers can't hack then. So they can't wipe out hackers, but what they can do is block them from doing what they do, which is hacking, okay? From that whole reset of the system, okay? Because a hacker's going to be a hacker. But if they have no system to upload or bring up and get into, they can't hack. Okay? So that handles that problem. Possibly, I can't say for sure, but that possibly will handle that problem, because hackers are hackers. That's what they do. They figure out systems. They figure out the codes and passwords and key phrases and things of that nature. And they get into these systems and, access information that was otherwise, blind to the public eye. All right? WorldCoin Sam Altman's crypto tool for technocracy. Eyeball scanning company WorldCoin capitalizes on Argentina's inflation crisis. See what this is. Amid soaring inflation, WorldCoin leverages Argentina's economic crisis, offering $50 in cryptocurrency for biometric data from financially vulnerable. Yes, you see, they always good to give you that lollipop out the dentist, right? It says, amid soaring inflation, WorldCoin leverages Argentina's economic crisis. And this is probably old. I'm not even going to pull it up. I'm just reading it. Offering $50 in cryptocurrency for biometric data. So they're offering $50 in cryptocurrency, which means you have to get this crypto identifier, however it works. I don't know how all those things work. The inward, workings of those things are. Okay. But you have to go into cryptocurrency to receive the $50, which means basically you receive this $50, but not in paper currency. You see? It says, here's news that at this point, in and of itself is no news. Argentina is experiencing another wave of huge inflation. However, this time a new player is involved in the crisis. Sam Altman's WorldCoin. Here you have someone saying WorldCoin is that bad as sounds. Blah, blah, blah. All right, so, yep. Let's go back to the top. The Beast WorldCoin digital ID ecosystem build out continues with next wave of grants. All right, let's continue. Let's check this out real quick. Confirmed new evidence shows CIA worked alongside Al-Qaeda sympathizers in Somalia. Not surprising at all. The CIA began its expansion in Somalia around 1960s using an extensive set of tools of political influence, such as kidnapping, operating black sites, promoting Somali politicians, and funding warlords. Specifically, the last point was seen as a way to avoid resending American troops after the Black Hawk Down incident. All right, I just wanted to read that real quick. Let's move on. All right, so this one here says the WHO building a permanent pandemic market, right? So it says in the face of a potentially industry-ending slew of patent cliffs, Big Pharma has begun acquiring biotechnology companies to stave off collapse. To get these drugs to market, the industry is pursuing the only solution left for their dying model, a full takeover of the WHO to capture the global regulatory system. Big Pharma must soon confront an industry-wide hazard that reaches magnitudes far greater than the typical concerns of corporate profit margins and business politics. Through years of industry consolidation, it has essentially made itself too big to fail. Only now the model which it once could never fail within, that is, the practice of obtaining patent exclusivity over drugs that are approved through clinical trials and regulations, has become obsolete, even impossible under the current conditions of the industry. In this new climate, the trials and regulations Big Pharma once successfully navigated may very well lead to its total demise. However, the pharmaceutical sector has set its eyes on the only solution that can keep its money and power intact: the full takeover of the public sector, specifically the World Health Organization, the WHO, and the regulatory system that now holds the entire market hostage. All right. I actually thought I was getting to something else. Let me see here. It says this time around, however, according to Biopharma Dive, after years of industry consolidation, there are not many major large drug makers left as attractive merger targets. In other words, Big Pharma has become too big to fail, and over the next 6 years faces a new round of potentially disastrous patent cliffs. Further, traditional chemical drugs already exist for many diseases, and regulators have increased approval standards for them, delaying the time in which new products obtained from M&As can be taken to market. All right, so as a result, companies facing patent cliffs have shifted their patent cliff response efforts to acquiring biotech and biologic companies that produce products that, compared to their more typical chemical-based counterparts, are more complex, unpredictable, and difficult and expensive to make. The race for future blockbuster drugs will therefore take place in big drug makers, our laboratories, or in those of familiar biotechnology companies, as opposed to mergers with other large corporations. But this is the thing, though. Those drugs that they make are not good, right? These are the true drug dealers on the earth, not Pookie and Ray Ray on the corner, all right, with the bundles or whatever. Okay, he got the elbow down the block. Nah, man. The true drug people, all right, are these Edomites, okay? Hospitals, the RXs and their Kroger's, because I think Kroger's sometimes have those particular, pharmacies in there. What's the other ones? Walgreens and stores like that, man. 24 hours open always, okay? And that's why you keep hearing about bio this, bio that, bio. All right, everybody see Esau is always studying the human body and how to destroy it. I mean, the man he's a maniac, okay? You want to rule the whole earth, but yet you're killing the people that you want to rule over. How completely stupid is that? But that's because he was created to be the wicked will not understand that, because they don't even know that they're controlled by the Lord on the left-hand side. So they don't understand why they operate the way they operate. They just think that they're so smart because they're crafty, they're tricky. Because these people don't really have wisdom like you may think, okay? They may have a certain level of wisdom, but that's because the Lord had gave that to them on the left-hand side, to fulfill prophecy, to fulfill their particular lots. But when you sit back and think about the things that they bring forth, okay, you realize like this is crazy. Like none of this makes sense. Okay, all the like we talked about. Actually, there was the other one that got cut off, the first one, but the cow farts and cutting back on cows and chickens, cow tax, and climate change, and deforestation. All these crazy things. They give you some kind of ridiculous explanation of why they're doing these things, man. And when you look into them, they make zero sense. So it's just a cover-up story to say this is the reason why we're doing this, and they're lying. All right. So let's just move on to our next article here. All right, we'll probably get a couple more and then wrap it up here. So this one says Biden appoints social media censorship advocate to White House digital strategy team. Once again, this is dated back to July 12th. As I mentioned before, Blacklist is just never up to date like I would like them to be. In that last article, I thought I was going to go into something else there, but it's okay. But we'll get this one and one more. It says the Biden administration reinforces its ranks with what some reports see as yet more ardent censorship advocates. This time it's Andy Volosky, whose claim to fame thus far has been to wholeheartedly support the banning of President Donald Trump by former Twitter while Trump was still president. Unsurprisingly, his other efforts are advocating for even stricter online censorship, content moderation than what social platforms have been doing for almost a decade now. Yeah, always trying to update their algorithm and, you say certain things and they strike. They get more and more strict, basically. It's going to get to the point where they're going to stop getting strict, and what they're going to do is just restrict, okay? Keep you from doing certain things. Or like the one person in the UK that came to his house to lock him up because something he said online. This is what they're trying to roll out in America, to the point where if you're speaking out online, they can roll up and take you away, okay? Or whatever the case may be, right? And their main their main course meal they're trying to get to are the prophets on the street, the men that are on the streets, because that's the true thorn in their side. Not these people all over the internet saying this, saying that, giving up their own opinions, which some people can actually be, somewhat of whistleblowers and bring forth good information. But those people are easily, pacified, right? But they can't do anything against the men of the Lord. Only thing they can do is try to bring certain laws or rules or regulations, whatever the case may be, to try to restrict the men of the Lord from doing what they're doing. But they still have no control over that because this is the Lord's will, all right? He's going to allow his men to prophesy until he doesn't want them to prophesy anymore, okay? And so he thinks he'll come up with a plan to stop the prophets. And really, it's not you stopping the prophets. It's the Lord bringing that famine of the word, okay? But he brought it through you. Through the left-hand side, see? So, let me see here. It says, unsurprisingly, his other efforts are advocating for even stricter online censorship, content moderation than what social platforms have been doing for almost a decade now. And it's stupid how you gotta, kind of, speak in, code and kind of, just kind of tiptoe around what you want to say, man. But yet, in America, you're supposed to have what? Freedom of speech. Doesn't sound like freedom of speech to me, man. But it shows you that they don't care about what you think is your rights. Those rights have been violated from day one, man. All right, it's just to make you feel safe here, okay? Feel like the government is on your side. Volosky has now been given the right to serve this administration as deputy director of platforms for the White House's Office of Digital Strategy, right? A digital strategy. Serving the people, critically minded cynics might remark, would probably require a different mindset and a different set of skills. But depending on, a different set of skills, right? And this is what they're trying to do, crack down on everybody, okay? They got the FEMA camps, they're trying to bring out, martial law, okay? And they have a particular set of skills, and they will find you, and they will come and get you, okay? And that was a law, I think it was a law, but there was something that went forth, okay, where I think it was in New York about, man, I forget if it was centered around the C ovid or whatever the case may be, but you get sick and they're able to come and pick you up from your home and take you away and not release you, or not give you some kind of release date. And then I think it ended up being spoken about as well as in Florida. Shortly after it was spoken about in New York, then it went to Florida. Okay. And so that thing will be across the 50 states, man. Soon, whenever it's necessary, they'll bring that across the 50 states. Okay. That's what the FEMA camps are for. Okay. to to lock up the unwanted, the unworthy, or the rebellious, or whatever the case may be. And once again, it starts at who? The faithful believers in the Lord. All right, those are the ones who are always the target. All right, and some of us will actually have to end up in their their FEMA camps. Okay, but that's just part of this walk. But First Thessalonians chapter 4 comforts you on that, so you don't there's no worries there. We have no worries. All right, we just trust in the Lord. That's it. So let me see here. It says, let me see. I'm trying to see if there's some little nitty gritty we can get into. Yeah, we probably got and that's the end of the article anyways. We probably got the gist of that, just to hit it real quick and get up on out of there. So it says Biden appoints social media censorship advocate to White House digital strategy team. Okay. So let's get this last article here. All right. So last one. Going back to another cow on the screen, right? Especially given the talk as of late, given the mpox, because you have other deadly things that go around, but the mpox seems to be the most major one. All right, it was what was an outbreak in Africa, and then now you saying that the Sweden has its first case, which is probably more than that. They tell you one, but it's probably more than that, as well as other places, because if it came from Africa to Sweden, what's stopping it from going from Africa to Russia or wherever, okay? So it's probably in other places, but it's not being talked about as of yet. And also that article that we read the other day, talked about if it's in Sweden, then it's probably also in the UK, which I believe that to be true, man. And that's why we also spoke on, that last pandemic, okay? With the woo woo, they were still allowing international travel, knowing this thing was, and even if you would have shut it down right, like at the blink of an eye, you would shut things down right away. You can't stop, everyone who has been affected from boarding a flight and flying off before you shut things down. But that's besides the point, because they allowed things to be open for a period of time and then they stopped certain things. All right, but it was too late now. This is already spread around to different particular areas because you allowed constant international travel. Okay, well, you should have been trying to block it off as soon as possible. But that's how it spread, and that's how the mpox is going to spread from Africa. There's so many, different areas in Africa that many people travel to. Okay, and so basically, whoever flies from Africa, they go back to Australia, they go back to the US, they go back to Canada, go back to Pakistan, wherever, Saudi Arabia, it doesn't matter. Someone somewhere has taken this mpox with them, and then it spreads in that particular area there. All right. So, and then we're not saying this thing is going to be just worldwide and global, but we're watching it though. All right. So let's get into this article though. It says bird flu terror, raw milk targeting. This is old. I just want to bring it up for the fact of what we're talking about now. Okay. Also that article before with the other cow, the cow tax, right? As we watch the narrative surrounding the bird flu and its alleged jump into the beef supply develop, the stage is increasingly set for a crackdown on raw dairy suppliers. All right. What it says? Debunked bird flu PCR fraud. Okay. Why target raw milk? The reason is perhaps twofold. Raw milk proprietors tend to be small operations with limited political clout who giant agricultural interests see as a competition they would like to wipe. B, raw milk is full of beneficial bacteria that get wiped out during pasteurization. Parsing official narratives from the government and corporate state media is actually not so difficult once your central operating theory, which is proven correct time and time again, becomes whatever is good for people. The governing authorities wish to stamp out by whatever means available to them. First, we have the government now reassuring the public with important caveats we'll get to in short order that pasteurization does actually kill viruses, which any middle school student should know. As bird flu continues to spread among U.S. dairy cows, reassuring new government research finds the pasteurization process widely used in the industry effectively kills all bird flu virus. And it's funny how something will pop up and then you stop hearing about it. If it's so, deadly and it spreads, why we stop hearing about it? Then the pop up, oh, we have 20 cases here. Well, wait a minute. It never went away, but you guys just kind of stopped talking about it. It says here, let me see. In a health update posted Friday, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration said the results are the latest, not current Friday, because remember this article is old. We're just reading it. To show that pasteurized grocery store milk remains safe from the highly pathogenic avian virus H5N1. I believe the only up-to-date article was the first one that we read, but that was in the one that got clipped, that we already uploaded. It should be uploaded by now. So in like 7 minutes, some change that, it got snipped at that point. Let's see, the FDA, along with our federal partners at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, is announcing results from a first-of-its-kind study using the process typically used by commercial milk processors. The intention of this study was to further confirmation that pasteurization is effective at inactivating highly pathogenic H5N1 avian influenza virus in fluid milk and other dairy products made from pasteurized milk. So pasteurization kills bird flu. Obviously, however, according to Forbes, a certain type of pasteurization may not always be effective in killing the virus, leaving the door ajar to dig up positive bird flu tests out of the commercial beef supply in the future if need. Now, here's the thing, though. We raises a question. Now, if what does it say is true? If pasteurization truly does kill the bird flu, then who fouled up the job? Okay, because I know they say, however, and then they down below what was just read, but the however isn't going to be just everywhere. Not everywhere is not going to have some open back door somewhere. All right, so it makes you think, man. But we know these people plan things, man. And once again, it all comes from the Lord on the left-hand side, man. Okay? Dozens of cows infected with the bird flu have either died or been slaughtered in Colorado, Ohio, Michigan, South Carolina, and Texas, which is unusual since, unlike poultry, cows cost more to slaughter and around 90% usually make a full recovery. A new study with mice suggests that drinking infected milk can spread the disease, and that a certain type of pasteurization may not always be effective in killing. You notice how they always do, man? It's always some animal, okay? It's a rat, okay? It's a monkey, all right? It's that same cow that jumped over the moon. It's always something, right? And they always blame it on the animals, okay? Which there are certain things that can be caused from animals, but that's why certain, things are set in place to avoid these things, because you're about to sell products to the public, all right? So that's why I said what I said a while ago. Who fouled up the job, all right? But let's not, hang on these articles, man. Okay, just a little quick various article session. And, the main, theme here is the fact that the Lord is, working on this earth, and he's bringing, all kinds of things, famines, disease, war, pestilences, so on and so forth, man. And as bad as it seems now, these things are going to turn up tenfold, when Jacob's trouble is fully underway, man. So, we'll leave it at that. Lord will, you will edify. Shalom.